21 days to change your life. It sounds like a promise made for people like us, busy and looking for a clear line between who we are and who we want to become. It's short enough to feel doable, long enough to feel serious, and simple enough to repeat like a mantra. We see it everywhere, in books, on the internet, and at some point we start to believe in it. I did. Maybe you did too. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. That number, no matter how often we hear it, is wrong. Real, lasting change doesn't follow a fixed countdown. It doesn't magically happen on day 21 or day 30 or any neat round number someone once printed in a book. Because how long it takes to change your life depends on the life you're trying to change. Building the habit of drinking a glass of water every morning is not the same as rebuilding confidence or finding purpose again after years of drifting. So let's look at what science has uncovered about the real timeline of transformation. The idea that it takes 21 days to change your life started with a simple observation, not science. In the 1950s, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon, noticed that his patients needed around 3 weeks to get used to changes in their appearance, like after a nose job or an amputation. He mentioned this in his book, calling it a minimum of about 21 days for the mind to adjust. But over time, that small detail was lost. The phrase turned into a catchphrase. It takes 21 days to build a habit. And from there, it spread everywhere. Books, seminars, social media, until most of us believed it without question. Until science did. In 2009, a research team led by health psychologist Dr. Philippa Lally at University College London set out to measure the actual time it takes for a new habit to become automatic. In a 12-week study, they tracked 96 people, each trying to build a different habit, from drinking more water to going for a run. What they found was far from the neat, hopeful story of 21 days. The average time it took for a behavior to feel automatic was 66 days. And the range? It stretched from just 18 days to as long as 254. That's nearly 9 months. That means depending on what we're trying to change, who we are and what's happening around us, the timeline shifts, sometimes wildly. One person's 3-week victory might be another person's 8-month journey. And that's not a flaw, that's just how humans work. For instance, if someone decides to start drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, they might lock in that habit within a few weeks. It's simple, takes little effort, and fits easily into most routines. But take something like going to bed earlier, especially if your evenings are the only quiet time you have after work or taking care of family. That kind of change often takes much longer. It's not just about sleep, it's about changing how your whole day feels. Even more reassuring, the studies showed that missing a day, or even a few, did not ruin the process. It didn't reset the clock. Building a habit isn't a fragile streak we have to protect. It's a pattern we return to again and again until it feels natural. Why we give up and how to stay on the path. We don't need a long list of reasons to explain why people give up. Most of us already know the feeling too well. We start something new. Maybe it's going for a morning jog, cutting back on screen time, or trying to eat better. But then at some point, the energy that got us started didn't feel strong enough to keep us going. Maybe we expected progress to feel fast and visible. Maybe we missed one day and thought, that's it, we've messed up. Or maybe no one around us even noticed we were trying. No encouragement, no feedback. And without that, it's easy to feel like stopping wouldn't matter. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Real change depends not on how motivated we feel, but on how well we've built our habits into the structure of our everyday environment. So how do we make it easier to keep going, especially on the hard days? There are 4 key rules that can make all the difference. Number 1, the 2-minute rule. James Clear introduces the 2-minute rule as a way to overcome the biggest barrier to habit building, starting. The idea is simple. Make the first step so small, so easy that it doesn't feel like a chore. According to him, any habit should take less than 2 minutes to begin. For example, if you want to read more, don't commit to finishing a chapter. Commit to just opening the book and reading 1 sentence. If you want to build a daily exercise habit, don't start with 30-minute runs. Just put on your workout clothes and step outside. The point isn't the task, it's the trigger. These tiny beginnings lower resistance and often lead to more action once the momentum is there. How to apply it? Choose one habit you want to build. Break it down to a version that takes less than 2 minutes. Make that your only goal for the first week. Number 2, habit anchoring. In Tiny Habits, behavior scientist B.J. Fogg shares the method of anchoring, linking a new habit to something you already do reliably. For instance, if you already brush your teeth every morning, anchor a new habit immediately after that. After brushing, drink a glass of water. After making coffee, stretch for 30 seconds. These anchors turn existing routines into reliable launch pads for new ones. How to apply it. Identify one thing you already do daily. Brushing your teeth, making coffee, turning off your alarm. Choose a small new habit and attach it directly after. Use this sentence. After I, current habit, I will, new habit. Number 3, choice architecture. In the book Nudge, economists Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein introduce choice architecture, the idea that we can shape behavior by changing the environment in which decisions are made. You don't need more self-control, you just need to design your surroundings so the right choice is the easiest one. If your goal is to eat healthier, put fruit in a visible bowl on the kitchen counter and store cookies out of sight. If you want to spend less time on your phone, keep it in a drawer or another room after 9 p.m. If you want to stretch in the morning, lay out a yoga mat the night before, or join a group where others are working toward the same goal. Being surrounded by people doing the same thing can make it much easier to stay on track. How to apply it. Pick one habit you're trying to start or stop. Rearrange your physical space to make that action easier or the distraction harder. Let your environment do the work for you. Number 4, self-forgiveness and flexibility. One of the most reassuring insights from Dr. Philippa Lawley's 2009 study is that missing a day doesn't ruin your habit. Progress isn't lost because of one mistake. What mattered more was that people returned to the habit after missing it. In fact, most participants in the study missed multiple days, but still built the habit over time. This reminds us that habits don't require perfection, they require patience. When we forgive ourselves quickly, we reduce guilt and get back on track faster. How to apply it. Expect to miss days. Plan for it. When you do, avoid saying, I failed. Instead, say, I paused and now I'm back. Normalize the comeback, not just the streak. Not a big change, just the right one. When we think about transforming our lives, it's easy to imagine something dramatic, a complete lifestyle makeover, a strict new routine, or a long list of daily goals. But the truth is, real change often begins with something small. Not just any small thing, but something placed exactly where it fits, right into the natural rhythm of our day. Think about the first 10 minutes after waking up. What if we didn't touch our phone? What if we let our thoughts settle before the noise begins? Just that one shift right there can change how the entire day feels. Each of us has these soft spots in our schedule. It might be right before dinner, or just after work, or in the quiet pause before falling asleep. These aren't just gaps in time. They're moments that are easier to shape because they already feel calm or familiar or still. When we find one of those points and gently add a habit, something small like a glass of water or a quick note in a journal, it tends to stay. Not because we're disciplined, but because it fits. Because it doesn't fight with the rest of our life. There's another way to think about this too. Instead of stretching one habit to be long and perfect, we can let it be light and frequent. Maybe we don't need to meditate for 15 minutes. Maybe we just pause for 10 seconds right before opening our laptop, while waiting for the elevator, or as we stand by the stove waiting for water to boil. These little pauses, placed throughout the day, start to weave into who we are. Not all at once, but layer by layer. So how long does it take to change your life? That's where we started. After everything we've explored, after the stories, the science, and the small truths of everyday life, we can finally answer that question with a little more honesty. There is no single answer. No countdown works for everyone. Not 21 days, not 66, not some perfect morning where everything clicks into place. Because how long it takes depends on what kind of change we're trying to make, where we are in our lives, and how willing we are to keep going even when things don't go perfectly. We've known that habits don't need to be impressive to be powerful. They need to be repeatable. And we don't need to be perfect to grow. We just need to come back again and again with patience. So how long does it take to change your life? As long as it takes to start. Then to start again and again. That's the answer. It's not fast, it's not clean, but it's real. And it's enough. If this video made you pause or helped you see change a little differently, consider doing 3 simple things. Like the video to help it reach others. Subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And if you're on your own journey, leave a dot in the comments just to say, I'm still here, still walking. We'll see you in the next one.